Hey y'all, what's happening? Robert Kennedy III here, RK3. That's me. Monday morning, get up and go. The show. Yeah, I'm messing up my words. The show where we share with you thoughts and quotes and statements and ideas and whatever it is, just to inspire you, in order to help you get moving, in order to motivate you, in order to transform you so that you can make a difference in the world this week. So today, Monday morning, May 17th, 2021, I want to talk a little bit about the NBA Hall of Fame. The NBA Hall of Fame. So we had a lot of people that entered the NBA Hall of Fame. Some of my players, some of my favorite people, Chris Webber entered the NBA Hall of Fame. Tim Duncan entered the NBA Hall of Fame. Quite a few other people, but the name that stands out for a lot of people. Hey, Sam, what's going on this morning? The name that stands out for a lot of people is the name Kobe Bean Bryant. Yeah, Kobe Bryant, who was killed, unfortunately, last year, right at the beginning of 2020, with his daughter in a helicopter headed to a basketball game, coaching his daughter. They had an accident and he didn't make it, or none of the people in that flight made it, unfortunately. But he left this legacy. He left this legacy that is amazing. And it really locks in. Hey, Dr. Will, it really locks into what we want to talk about this morning. So as you're aware, every Monday morning, what I do is I share a thought, I share a quote, and we talk through that quote for just a moment. And the idea is that it helps you get moving and rocking and rolling for the week. Hey, y'all, Need Just Picks, everybody. Yeah, Beychella music. Yeah. All right. So here's the quote for this morning. Let me pop this up here. It says, it's by a guy named Orrin Woodward, and it says, find a victory in every defeat to remain hopeful, and find a defeat in every victory to remain humble. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to read that again. For those of you that are on Instagram, you're hearing me, you're not seeing this. Those of you that are on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, you're seeing this. Find a victory in every defeat to remain hopeful, and find a defeat in every victory to remain humble. So let me say that another way, and then I'll kind of bring that to life. I want to talk about Kobe Bryant just for a moment. So every time you lose, what is the perspective that you can take? Is there something good that you can find in that loss to help you remain optimistic and hopeful and see the good in that situation? Right? A lot of times we spend so much of our lives complaining. Something happens and we're wondering, why did this happen to us? We spend a lot of our time saying, reinforcing the negative in our minds. Our mind already knows that we lost. Our mind already knows that this didn't work out in the way that we intended, that it wasn't the perfect situation. But inside of that situation, what is the thing that you can find? What is the thing that you can do? What is the thing that you can pull out in order to bring hope to that situation, so that the next time the situation happens, I got it. This is better. Okay. And then the second half of this, all right, find a victory in every defeat to remain hopeful. And then the second half, find a defeat in every victory to remain humble. Now, that's not saying that when you win, you complain. What it is saying is that when you win, okay, now we celebrate that win for just a moment, and then we look for the next thing that we can do to become more efficient, to become better, to become bigger, to expand, remain in growth mode. So let's talk about Kobe Bryant for a moment. There was his work ethic was huge. His work ethic was well known, just ridiculous work ethic, this drive to be the best. And when we say the best, not just better than every basketball player, but better than the basketball player or the person that he was the game before. Right. So there's this story about another basketball player named Jay Williams that joined the team and decided that he was going to get to the gym early to see if he could get some things happening. So they had a game at 7, and he said, listen, I'm going to get to the gym at 3 o'clock to do some warm-ups, get some workouts in, get some things happening so that I can really prove to the team that I'm going to, that I'm worth it, that I'm my being here is a positive thing, is a good thing, that I want to make success of this. So he gets to the gym at 3:00. The game's at 7. He gets to the gym at 3:00, 4 hours before. And as soon as he walks into the gym, he hears this basketball bouncing, and he gets in and he sees Kobe Bryant already there, drenched with sweat, which means he had already been there for at least a half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour and a half. And he worked out with Jay, and he did all this stuff. And then he went ahead and he dropped 40 points that game. Right. So he was working out before the game, before everybody else. And then he still was the best player in that game. Another game happens and they win this game. They win the game. OK, which means that it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. They win the game. Kobe Bryant goes and he does his post-game stuff in the locker room. He goes out, he does his media stuff. And after he does all of that, they won the game, mind you. He then goes back to the gym to shoot foul shots. Why? Because he had missed a couple of critical free throws that game. Again, they won the game. But he looked at the free throws that he missed, and then he didn't sit and say, oh my gosh, I missed the free throws. He looked at the free throws that he missed, and then even after the win, he went back right away to begin working. So I guess the question that I ask, or the question that each of us asks ourselves is, listen, when I win, am I still willing to put in more work? Right? Because here's what happens. A lot of times we win, and I'm not against celebrating. I believe that when you win, you ought to celebrate. You ought to take a moment to say, you know what? Whew, we worked hard. We did that thing, right? And then once you've celebrated, can you then look at your win? Can you look at your experience? Can you look at your moment? Can you look at your session and assess and decide and say, hey, you know what? Let's see what's next. Let's see how we can grow. Let's see how much more, how much better we can even be in this situation. And that's what this quote this morning is talking about. Find a victory in every defeat to remain hopeful. No matter what has happened, right? No matter what challenge has taken place, no matter what trouble, what failure has taken place, can you look for something? There's this thing about the silver lining, right? And my dad said to me a few years back, he was like, "You're hopelessly optimistic." Right? He's like, every time I speak to you, no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what's going on, when I ask you how you're doing or what's happening, there's like positivity that comes from you. It's like you're blind to negativity. And I take that as a compliment. I take that as this thing because I'm always looking for hope in a situation. I'm one of those people that feels like it's wasted energy for me to wallow in negativity, or something bad happens for me to sit there and try to figure out why the negative stuff is happening to me or to anybody else. So in your space or in your circumstance, as you go out, as you kind of like navigate this week, what is it that you're focused on? What is it that you're focused on? If there's challenge, if there are obstacles that are in your way, if you're walking down the street and there's a block that you hit, or there's a brick that's in the street, okay? Are you going to say, ow, there's a brick in the street, or complain, why did somebody put that brick in the street? Or are you going to look at opportunities around that, right? So there's actually another quote, and I'll share a little bit more about this in a few weeks. There's a guy named Benny Lewis, and he said, the difference between a stumbling block and a stepping stone is how high you raise your foot. Right? The difference between a stumbling block, hey, Fortner's Garden, and a stepping stone is how high you raise your foot. Right? If you don't raise your foot high enough, you're going to trip. But if you decide that you're going to raise your foot higher, then you can use that stone to launch onto something bigger. Right? So what's your perspective? What is your perspective? So find a victory in every defeat to remain hopeful, and then find the defeat in every victory to remain humble, because the challenge is, or the temptation for a lot of us, is that once the victories start coming, we we can get, we're human beings. We tend to get a little bit big headed sometimes. Right? We tend to get a little bit big headed. So what is the growth that you can look for? I want you today to do two things. Number one, look for some wins. Look for some wins, right? We go through, and often we're so focused on the negative, we're so focused on the challenge, we're so focused on the failures that we miss out on the wins. So I want you to identify some wins today. I want you to identify some wins. And you're saying, like, when should I do that, Robert? Okay, set a time in your calendar. It doesn't have to take a long time. If you have a 5-minute block, maybe it's on your lunch break today. Maybe it's when you decide that you're going to take a moment just to watch a TV program or whatever. Take 5 minutes and write down. And one of the things that I do in at the end of each day, I've got this book, right? I've got a full focus planner. I don't know if y'all can see this, right? I do what I call a brain dump, and I just write a bunch of stuff on that page. And I write down anything that comes to mind, anything that I want to do, anything that I am thinking about, anything that I may have forgotten. And one of the things that I write there also are wins. I write down celebrations. What good happened today? What amazing thing happened? And sometimes it's not something like huge. Sometimes it's something really simple. I followed my diet today, right? I ate granola instead of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Whatever it is. What is your win? Find your win. And then when you find that win, what's the moment, or what's the piece in your win that you can look at and say, okay, yeah, I won, and I want to take that little piece and I want to push it up another notch. I want to take it to the next level. All right. So find your victories in every defeat to remain hopeful, and find a defeat in every victory to remain humble, because it's when you're in growth mode constantly, when you're constantly seeking to grow, that you don't become complacent. Growth and complacence can't exist in the same space, right? Growth mindset and complacency can't exist in the same space. So what is it that you're going to do? What is it that you're going to commit to? What is it that you're going to use to grow today? And as we've been talking about this morning, quite often, if you're looking for it, your best growth moments can come inside of a victory or win. A lot of times we associate growth. One of the things I like to say is that you don't experience failure. You only experience feedback. You only get feedback, right? In life, when things don't work out, it's not so much that they didn't work out and that's it. It's information that helps you figure out what not to do the next time, or how to get better. And that happens often when there's a breakdown. And even inside of wins, there are things that you're saying, okay, yeah, let me see how we can become more efficient at that. I want to win by more. I want to be better. I don't want to just accept this as a one-time win. I want to repeat this win. I want this to happen over and over and over again, right? Exactly, right? So when you're constantly in growth mode, when you're constantly looking and open to the fact that there's more that you can learn, there's higher to go, there's more that you can grow, then again, stagnance can't exist in that space. So what are you going to do today? Again, I repeat the story of after a win, Kobe Bryant goes back to the gym because he's looking at how to improve on the foul shots that he missed in that game. After a win. So inside of your wins, what is the thing that you're going to look for in order to grow even further? I'll say our quote once again. And yeah, our time's up this morning already. 15 minutes. Woo, that's how we do this thing. Find a victory in every defeat to remain hopeful, and find a defeat in every victory to remain humble. Listen, y'all, that is it. Our motivational Monday get up and go this morning. Do me a favor. If you have any thoughts, if you want to shoot me a text, send me a text 410-936-4049. 410-936-4049. For those of you on Instagram, I'll say it one more time. 410-936-4049. Shoot me a text. I'll be able to share with you anything that we have got going on. I'll respond to your text personally, and I will share any of these motivational moments. If you forget that we're going to be doing them, I'll be sending you a text on Monday morning saying, hey, y'all, listen, hey, what's going on, Kim? What's going on, Althea? What's happening? Let me see these names on here. Monique, what's happening? Who else is on here? Minister Graham. Yeah, all these people. Hey, Sam. Hey, Dr. Will. We're going live. We're doing Monday morning get up and go every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So that's what we want to share this morning. Hopefully it got you moving. Hopefully you're ready to get up and go. Hopefully you're ready to grow this morning. All right. What are you committed to? I'll see you next Monday morning. Peace. Actually, not just next Monday morning. Join me this afternoon for the What's My Story podcast at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on RK3 TV, on LinkedIn, and I think those are the two places. Yeah. Facebook. Yeah. All right. See y'all. Make this a great Monday. Peace.